first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, January 21st. I know you guys got to see us right after, and obviously we were ecstatic. It was a very good win yesterday. We're still fired up about that, but Tennessee also got some more good news today on the football front. We are 26 days away from baseball.
Yep, 26.
So fired up, I don't know, begins to describe what the feelings Landon and I both are feeling, but yeah, we're pretty pumped. So I hope you are too.
Well, just yesterday in general, just from a sports perspective, was awesome. You had NFL,
honestly. Good games
basketball.
Too,
yeah. And then today you had some basketball, but NFL again. But yeah, I just love Saturdays that are full of sports. So yesterday made me happy, and then the Vols made it even better. Today you land some guys in the portal officially, I guess. And yeah, all is well. Vibes are high.
Vibes are definitely high. That's a good way to put it. Everything's feeling. If you're a Vol fan, you have to be feeling good right now. If you're not, we need to talk, and you don't need to lie to yourself to make yourself feel good. There's plenty to feel good that's real, and so don't go making stuff up. It's okay. It'll be fine. We're good. Like, everything's fine. We don't need to argue with other fans about it either.
We will, though.
Yeah, but you don't need to.
We don't need
so
to.
Don't get mad about it. And it is funny, the Alabama fans that are trying to convince themselves that everything's fine or good, that Kalen DeBoer's killing it, all that. It's what was the past 20 years for if you can't just be like okay for a few years.
Yeah.
What was it all for, Landon?
I'm cool with it though. Like, if they just want to be straight ass, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I don't think they will be. I mean, it would be awesome.
I mean, they're turning into Alabama football team is turning into Washington. That's all they are, and Washington without like their best players.
Yeah. Last kind of note on the Bama thing, and we've been on it because it's been a big talking point in college football the last, since Saban left. My last note is all this uproar about the transfer portal and how it's hurting Alabama. Not a peep about Washington. Not a peep. Not a peep how their coach left later than Saban. Not a word. It's weird how it's only affecting Alabama, Landon.
Yeah, I mean, they lose like not only everybody that went to the NFL, all that recruiting class has gone to Washington. They lost their coach. I mean, they lost it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, but no big deal. It's nothing. It wasn't a college football playoff team or anything. Speaking of transfer portal and all that, you're right, Ike. The portal has been blowing up for UT. I'm definitely gonna be wrong when I say this, but probably the best portal year so far. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say so. I think like every need that you kind of had a question mark going into the season, I think you've answered it in the portal. Defensive back.
Yeah, it's not that Tennessee's building. That's a good point too, and why it's probably the best year. It's not that Tennessee's building a team, and they are in a good spot where they don't have to build a team. It kind of felt, especially in Josh Heupel's first year, the needs were so great that you had to kind of go out and somewhat build a team out of the portal if you were going to be successful. You don't have to this year. You're just addressing needs, and Tennessee's addressed some needs in some big ways.
Yeah, and it seems like they're okay with taking like a guy that has 1 year. Basically, you're just renting that player for a year. But they really are getting guys out of the portal with multiple years of eligibility left. You can get them in the program, develop them some. It's not just like a plug and – I mean, you hope some of these guys are plug and play, but you're not just plugging them in for one season and not – I mean, they're here for a couple months and then they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much that does for your program unless it's just like an absolute game changer. But guys like Lance Hurd, Chris Brazzell, Jamal McCoy, I mean, those guys like freshman All-Americans.
Yeah.
And we're going to have them at least 2 years.
Well, they're just 3 stars landing because we're using their high school rankings now. So. And you talk about they're okay with taking the 1 year guys. They seem to be doing it at spots where there's depth behind them. It's just, I think the tight end position is a great example. Holden Stays is someone you got, and you can address the need for sure. But you do have young talent there. Really just about building depth and getting a solid player in there with them. And I think that's probably where they're going to want to take the 1 year, the rented guys, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talking about buying players, I guess we're renting players now too with NIL.
And like you kind of got to look at it, and it's kind of taken over some high school recruiting. Whereas like you can go get a guy at Tulane that was a 3-star that you probably were never going to recruit, and he blows up, has 700 yards, 7 touchdowns, something like that at receiver, and you're like, oh, well, I'd rather have a guy who has already done it at maybe not this level, but at a Group 5 level, done it in college.
They've done, they played college football.
Then a guy that you might be taking a chance on in the high school ranks. I think that it's an interesting thing because you're not just like taking a guy to take a guy. You can go get a guy with experience in the portal with 3 years of eligibility, then go get a guy that's not going to help you for 3 years or two or 3 years, whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. It's definitely changed the outlook for, like you said, some of the high schoolers that would maybe be looked at as projects. They've got the athleticism, they've got the physical abilities, maybe not quite put together how you'd like to see on film, done it on the field. It's maybe changed the outlook of some of them, of guys who maybe have that same physical ability, same athleticism, but they have a little bit more on film at the college level. They're going to be those projects have more upside. It's risk versus reward. It's return. What you're looking at ROI, and you get that with guys that you've seen do it in college. Maybe not a ton. Thankfully, the guys at Tennessee, Chris Braswell's a great example. That an excellent player. Yes, at Tulane, but it's not a huge. First off, he's rated as a 4-star transfer, but it's not like you're not taking a huge risk. It's a guy who's done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also those projects that you get out of high school, how much of them often pan out and don't transfer?
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk for a reason. I mean, for sure. I'll tell you something that I don't think is a risk, and I think most of the country agrees, and that's Lance Hurd.
Yeah, 6'6", 310. That's going to play for sure.
Those measurables travel for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And, that's a guy that's like, if you land him and you still had Gerald Mincy isn't playing. And that's not, I know Gerald Mincy has some experience at Tennessee, but Lance Hurd is a different animal. Again, 3 years of eligibility left. He's played in 12 games at LSU this past season, was part of that, really good offense. I think he had a couple starts. This was the star of their recruiting class last year. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's Brian Kelly. I don't know. I don't know if
everybody loves him.
Lance Hurd if he tried to kill Lance Hurd. I don't know. But
you can't put a guy that big on a scissor lift. Are you kidding me?
no.
That thing would collapse.
Well, maybe he did, and maybe he's like, I'm out. That was the final straw.
Brian Kelly is into collapsing scissor lifts, so
Yeah,
he might have been onto something there.
But yeah, a guy that everybody wanted in the country, and Tennessee finds a way to land him, steals him away. He visited Oklahoma after he visited Tennessee, and Tennessee was still able to lock that one down. Kind of a quick visit there. It has been rumored that Tennessee is going to land him. Was in the directory before he made the announcement. But yeah, Tennessee has a massive get at this offensive line, and a guy that's Nico has to, really. I'm sure that was a big part in the recruitment. Was like Nico gets this guy for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. And you get a guy, you get John Campbell back, you get Cooper Mays back, you get Javonte Spraggins back. We'll see what happens at that other guard spot. But, I mean, your kind of line is set going into next season. And, with a first-time starter, you absolutely want that.
Yeah, and talking about Nico and getting guys like that, he's a huge part of that. You mentioned when Cooper Mays was, I guess he hadn't announced he was staying, but it was very, very likely he was staying at one point. And you mentioned that he's got to believe in that quarterback. I tweeted it today. Since January 1st, the outlook, not that people were super negative about Tennessee football, but we talked about it. This past season, 2023 was a little underwhelming. Just didn't have the juice that you really wanted it to. Didn't really get wins. It just wasn't wins you weren't supposed to get. Kind of just wasn't. I don't know, juice, I guess. Just didn't have it. And the flip from January 1st, where Nico looks on track, I think is the right way to say it. He looks on track. And sure, I'm not going to sit here and tout him as he's lived up to the hype or anything like that yet. No, not what I'm saying. Just on track. And you have the John Campbell staying. Cooper Mays is staying. And then you get a guy like Lance Hurd in the portal because of Nico. That's not the sole reason, but that's a big part of it. Mm-hmm. And him looking good against Iowa, one of the best defenses in the nation, that has changed since January 1st. It's been a big shift in the direction of going into 2024.
Yeah, with a lot of that offensive line not intact either. So, there's definitely a lot to like from that game. I look at Lance Hurd because you kind of have this. You got those COVID guys back for another year, their last year of eligibility, and you're looking at like, okay, cool. Next year we're feeling okay, but the next year you're just like question mark. You do have a check box though with Lance Hurd. He's going to be your tackle. Hopefully you can recruit some guys in here. You'll probably hit the portal again. We'll see what they do at that other guard spot if somebody steps up, and hopefully it's one of those young guys. I don't know. A lot of people have thrown shade at Glenn Ellerbe, and probably rightfully so. But the fact is, like, his line is producing, so it's hard for me to sit here and just say he's horrible. He needs to go. We need to make a change. When, I mean, we're like the leading rushing SEC team.
Yeah.
Last year, we were like the number one offense. Like, it's hard for me to just sit here and say, no, this, he's got to go because we're fine.
Yeah, I
until the
can't see why there would be a change.
I just don't. I don't see it. And again, you landed one of the top tackles in the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. Somebody recruited him. Was it Glenn Ellerbe? I don't know. I'm sure he had some sort of hand.
He's got to be a part of it. You're recruiting that position. I mean,
he's
maybe a small part, but
the majority of the time with Glenn Ellerbe. So,
are you drinking out of an LSU cup right now?
Yeah, there's a little shade in that.
Is that so? Okay.
Yeah, that's
tears,
Fred's.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Fred's. I don't even want to go back to Death Valley. I want to go back to Fred's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like this question. I don't know if it's a question exactly. It might have been the wrong way to say it. There's a question in there. I get the feeling that the hype is the same now as it was last offseason. Do you think the results? I guess there is a question. Just no question mark. Do you think the results for this upcoming season will live up to the hype? Yeah, I think the hype's similar. I think one big part of the hype that we haven't mentioned yet is getting Brew McCoy back is massive. That, and why I say where I was kind of going with last season is the loss of Brew McCoy is a huge hit when you look back at it. I think the Alabama game, I've mentioned it. I don't think that I'm not saying Tennessee for sure wins that game. I think it's a different story if Brew's in the game.
I think the hype is I think it's more this coming up season than last season because like you're going to have an upgraded quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's there quite yet, but it's building there and will be there for sure.
Yeah. Or the hope is you're going to have a lot better quarterback play, whereas last year I didn't think we thought Joe would be a lot better, but we didn't think he would be Hendon Hooker. I don't think anybody in their right mind thought that.
Right.
So I think there was kind of like we played well in the bowl game. There was a lot of hype. I get it. And then the national media was all about Joe Milton and like Tennessee's ranked in the top 10. Like they got this recruiting class. Everybody's coming back. So
I think the hype was a little overstated because of the national media. I think if you listen to Vol fans and listen to people talk about it, I think it was. I'm not saying everyone. I don't think that, but it was more reasonable than I think people are giving credit for. Because I think there was a lot of hope with that Joe Milton improved. Hype had built off that bowl game for sure, and I know we're kind of doing that again with Nico, but he looked good. He looked fine. He looked, like I said, like he was on track. So I get that. I mean, the hype's going to be by the time we get around to August and September, the hype's going to be through the roof. You do return some really, really good pieces on the offensive end, especially with Dylan Sampson being the premier back. You have Squirrel White still returning. Brew McCoy is going to be back in the mix. Your young wide receivers got a lot of experience last year due to injuries and just a little bit more rotation than Josh Heupel's seemed to do since he's been here last year. And some of that was his hand was forced. The offensive line returning is massive. Pretty much everyone. And if not everyone, you seem to have gotten better at that. So it's reasonable to an extent. We don't need to get into the schedule tonight or anything, but it's going to be interesting to kind of pick through the schedule and see how it lines up. Cause that's an important part of being able to win 10, 11 games is kind of how your season shakes out. How your schedule shakes out. So we'll get into that. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to grammar police you. It wasn't that. It was just it was more so me originally stating there was a question, and then I didn't think there was, and then sure enough there was. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's just a point I was making. I'm sorry. Getting Brew back is. I don't know if he's the biggest returner, unexpected returner. What do you think? I don't know.
I just have a question about the knee or about the injury is like, is he the same Brew? Like if he is, you could probably make the case that
I think it's probably
returner.
Even if Brew is back to old Brew, it's probably Cooper Mays, just because we saw
just with the offense for sure.
Yeah, but again, I sat here and talked about how we may beat Bama if Brew's there, but you don't beat Bama if Cooper's not there. You lost to Florida without Cooper. You shouldn't.
If Cooper plays, do you beat Florida? I don't. Yeah.
It's interesting because it's almost like football is not a one guy sport or something. I don't know. It's weird how we sit here and discuss this. It takes a lot to do that. Transfer portal's definitely been. I think it's been better to Tennessee than last year in my eyes, and that's probably a little bit of recency bias.
I just think you didn't lose anybody like too significant besides Tyler Barron. And I don't think the Tyler Barron thing, like that's just, it wasn't like he dipped like Henry To'oTo'o, and it was kind of like, we knew Tyler Barron wants to get a bag, goes to Ole Miss, which, that was kind of weird. And then he decommits and goes to Louisville. So I don't know. The grass isn't greener isn't always greener on the other side. So maybe hopefully it works out for him. I mean, he's not playing Tennessee next year, so I could care less. But I don't think you lost anybody too significant. Besides, like in the transfer portal, Jalen Wright is going to be significant, but you also have Dylan Sampson, who probably deserved more carries this past season.
Yeah. And you have also a guy that you didn't see much of until the bowl game. You saw a little bit throughout the season, but Cam Seldon, that looks to be kind of everything that's been promised.
Yeah, it looks like an SEC back already.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. Just looking at him, that's for sure. Jalen Wright's a big loss. You're gonna definitely miss him, and I was a little worried playing Iowa's defense how difficult it would be for Nico. I mean, you got a guy that was a big cog in the machine on the offensive side of the ball, and that entire offense stepped up, Nico included, Dylan Sampson, Cam Seldon included. So I feel better. I'm not sitting here saying it's 100%. You filled his shoes or anything. Those are huge shoes to fill. But I feel better. I feel better going into next year. We're going to be excited about it, but we talked about it on the post-game show. If you need your expectations tempered, I'll do that for you. I'm not going to put you down. I'll temper expectations. I know a lot of things are seen as negative when I'm just stating what I believe is truth and what sometimes is truth. It's not. It doesn't make it negative, Landon.
Ike says number 12 in turnage on defense was a hard hit. That's McDonald is number 12. I think you're ready to see young guys in the secondary. I was tired. And a lot of people are tired of seeing the same old players and the secondary just not getting better, especially when Kamal Hadden went out. The secondary just wasn't.
Yeah. And it's a hit for sure because you're losing starters or
but Turnage barely played this year.
Right. He played towards the back end of the season. So you lose starters and or just impact players, or impacts. That made it sound like the NCAA impact player. That's not what I mean. Guys who made an impact, not impact players. So you do. It is a hit, sure, but yes, what you said. Reiterate what you said. That it's time.
Yeah.
Kamal Hadden is a huge hit. Going into guys who left not to do a transfer, but you had to play the back half of the season without him.
Yeah. We kind of already seen kind of what it looks like. Didn't love it. So
no.
You're hoping that those young defensive backs can kind of step up, and then you add some transfers in there, like McMurray and Jermon McCoy from Oregon State in there to see if they can, fight for some of those jobs.
Yeah,
we're all just ready for that to be different. Yeah, we are all just done with the same old.
Change is good. It's scary, guys, but it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You also landed Jackson Moy from Stanford, defensive tackle, 6'2", 300 pounds. I think has 37 tackles in his 2-year career so far for the Cardinal. And another Polynesian guy. Got the nice tribal tattoos. I'm all for that.
Or as Wes Rucker would say, Poly, which has another meaning sometimes. Which I thought was interesting to just throw that out there. In this day and age, it's bold.
Yeah, maybe not use that.
We do have a couple Mormons on the team, so we do have some poly guys.
Sure, yeah. But yeah, I think that's a depth piece along that defensive front. We'll see how much he's a factor, but you like what you have with Amari Thomas, Omar Norman-Lott, Bryson Eason is coming back as well. So you just an added piece up front, and you can never have too many bodies in the trenches in the SEC.
No. So. I think we kind of saw that this year. You had some guys missing games and you missed them. But thankfully, Tennessee does have some depth across that front. They built that with Rodney Garner. So yeah, it's good to get some more bodies in for sure. Anything else kind of hit on the transfer portal or recruiting news in general? I guess potentially more good news coming.
Yeah, I did think it was interesting that Turnage went to Ole Miss, and part of that was probably because McDonald and Wesley Walker went to Louisville, didn't end up at Ole Miss. So,
yeah. Also, Lane Kiffin tweeted about Ohio State spending money in the transfer portal. Brother, brother, if you had the money to spend, you would have spent it. Sounds like you didn't have the money to spend. You tried. Tried to get a bank loan, and that credit must not be too. He's still taking a hit from that Lexus crash, I think.
Well, he's still trying to pay for Walter Nolan. He's like, oh my God. He's like, I got to make up for what Texas A&M apparently didn't pay him.
He saw that Instagram story about reading contracts. He's like, gosh, did he read? He knows.
He knows.
He's like, all right, guys, we gotta change the structure real quick.
Yeah. No, that's all I got for the transfer portal. Again, just some big gets today.
Is that weird? It feels weird on a Sunday, right? I mean, classes start Monday. That's another thing going into the student directory. It is not a guarantee when those names are in there, but it is a guarantee that you are very much considered. You're very much in the mix there because they got to get their name in for classes to start. So it's never a guarantee. JJ Peterson was in the directory at one point as well.
Allegedly.
So I believe he was in the directory. That doesn't mean he was there.
Yeah. I wonder if it was somebody else. Wrong
JJ Peterson.
His name was in there.
That's the problem the whole time. They never had his information. He was sorting out a misidentification the entire time. It's not his fault.
It's that girl on the plane. He's not real.
Yeah, it's not confirmed for sure.
Yeah. Wonder what he's doing.
I kind of feel bad for him that
I feel like he's an assistant teacher to Jeremy Pruitt at the high school that Jeremy Pruitt's at.
He might be on the payroll, but he's probably never worked. He's not shown up to work yet. Okay. I do feel bad for him that he's become that joke for really not much of his fault. Technically,
he could just like show up. That would probably he could just appear.
But would you not think if that happened, you think that would kind of die out because you were never there? Why do people still talk about it?
Yeah.
But it's Tennessee fans we're talking about. It's us we're talking about. Yeah. We run jokes into the ground. I will in fact beat a dead horse.
Agreed.
Or maybe even a horse that's not there. I don't know.
Scrawny nag. All right, let's get into some basketball. It was funny. I ran into our good friend Mike Wilson last night at Zool, and I was like, "Man, you didn't have to like delete any of those stories that you're writing up throughout the entire game." He's like, "No, that was the easiest game I've ever had to cover."
Wow. Okay. So did he get to? Normally you see the tweets where they're leaving late, they're crunch time trying to get articles in, stuff like that. I don't think that exists anymore since newspapers are dying breeds. Well, Mike works at a newspaper, so maybe he did have a deadline. This one, he was one of the guys leaving early? He got to leave early that game? Was he on video?
He might have, or just like he didn't have to stay extra. He just, as soon as it hit 0, just hit send and went out the door.
Okay.
And
good for him.
School, I guess.
The hardest working man in sports. He needs it.
Yeah.
I do have a knock on him and Ryan Shumpert. We saw that picture of the media at football games in probably like the 70s in full suits. And I called for a basketball game where they wear full suits because they do the Christmas sweater every year. I've yet to see any of them in full suits. Do you guys not own suits or something?
No.
Do we need to get you guys get some NIL deals for you guys? Like, what's going on? Give the people what they want. 3-piece suits, actually, with the top hats, everything.
Yeah, I want to see Eric Kane in the suit for sure. Eric Kane's in the suit. I don't know. He might have got rid of him. He might just still be on vacation. He's been on vacation for the last week, I think. So
yeah, he's been working, unfortunately.
Yeah,
man doesn't know how to turn it off.
Yeah, we kind of went over it a lot, like in our post-game show, but Tennessee
what do you mean?
Just absolutely embarrassed Alabama. Alabama came into the game averaging over 90 points per game and just flat out couldn't do anything. 71 points is what they got.
Yeah, and from the jump, man, Tennessee was on them. I mean,
Alabama was the number 1 scoring offense in the country, and Tennessee made them look like crap.
I don't use this term lightly. Tennessee handled their business from from the get-go. It was never in doubt.
No.
Never in doubt.
No.
I wanted to confirm it just to make sure. Alabama never led.
No.
I just wanted to double check it. They were tied for approximately 36 seconds.
Yeah, as soon as we scored, they should have just went home.
No, honestly. I don't know what's up with these Alabama and Florida folk. They just can't handle the snow, can't handle the ice, man.
Also, it is I did see this today where Rick Barnes has beaten Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. So hopefully that run that
rubs off on
on the football program.
We know Vitello's done it already.
Yeah. So we need to get that done next football season for sure.
Finish it.
But man, like 91 points, it's like this same basketball team. It is this same basketball team from last year. And then you add the best scorer in the country. I don't feel bad about saying that. The best scorer in the country.
You shouldn't.
And that's how we're here. And it feels good. You have elite guard play. You have a dominant big man who's getting it done as a rim protector and scoring offensively. And then you have Dalton Connect, which is probably the best player in the country right now. So it just feels good. I don't really have anything negative to say about that game. It was just an ass beating and a total team effort to take it to Nate Oates and Alabama. Like Greg Sankey didn't want to punish Alabama, so we did it for him.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Nate Oates felt the full wrath of Rick Barnes and what he thought of that shove, for sure. I have a new term. I don't remember what I said leading up to it. I was just talking about, I was like, something along the lines of it feels good, and I don't know how but I said, like, it feels good to, this ass kicking feels good or something like that. And someone thought I said titty kicking them or something. I don't know the phrase I used. I was like, I kind of like that. I think now, like, we titty kicked Alabama for sure. That was a titty kicking.
I don't know who said that.
Well, someone thought I said that.
Oh, okay.
That's what I didn't, but I kind of like that term. I think that should be more widely used.
That would hurt.
I think so.
So, is that like a Spartan kick? Is that count as a titty kick?
I guess, yeah.
Or does it have to be one singular? Because that's middle of the chest.
Singular titty.
You gotta scoot it over to one side or the other.
It's a missed Spartan kick, but it's still a Spartan kick at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, this team we talked about it in a group text last night. A couple of guys, how this team's, and me and you talked about it yesterday, how well-rounded this team is. Just everywhere on the floor, solid. It's going to require Dalton Connect to keep scoring and be that guy. Doesn't seem like he has any true off nights in him right now. I hope that stays the same. If 25 points is an off night for Dalton Connect, sign me up. I would love that. We've got Jonas Adu playing really, really good basketball right now, especially in the scoring column. Would love for that to continue. Big man is something that Tennessee really, really lacked last year, and that was Jonas Adu. Just didn't have a guy that could night in, night out do it. And if you've got Jonas Adu doing it night in, night out, that's massive for this team. We got into the conversation of this team versus the Grant, Admiral, Bowden, Turner, Bone team. Fulkerson, won't leave him off the list. Pons, just another really well-rounded basketball team. Kyle Alexander, that really what that team lacked was a point guard that was aggressive going to the hole and a true scorer. Other than that, they were really, really solid, and they didn't have quite the confident Kyle Alexander that we saw later in his career. But other than that, really well-rounded. I think this team is more well-rounded than that team. We'll see if they're better at the end of the day. That's a tall task. And that team's certainly better at some other positions. But this team might be more well-rounded than one of Tennessee's best basketball teams in recent history.
Yeah, I mean, that team played together forever, and I think that was a huge at some point you would hope they would get to that point.
Right.
This team, I know, like, some of them have just kind of sprinkled in here and there, but especially Dalton Connect has only been here for a couple months, but it just seems like everybody's playing comfortable. Everybody kind of knows their role. You don't like no one felt pressure yesterday, and I don't know if it was just because we were up by so much, and
never in doubt.
Yeah, but there's also like having a guy like Dalton Connect, Vescovi, Josiah, like in their careers, those guys have been like, hey, we're looking at you guys. Like, we're going to pass it around until it gets back to you, and you're going to have to shoot it because I'm not shooting it. With it now, it's like, hey, you have the green light because if you miss, hey, so what? We have a guy averaging like 30 points per game right now. It's fine. We have a point guard that can get up the floor and is going to get you open. Like you're not. Tennessee doesn't have to shoot contested shots, and we have a big man right now who can take you off the bounce. He can step out, hit some of those mid-range shots. Again, he gets it done defensively too. I think in the last 3 games he's had like 11 blocks. So he's been dominating. Again, everybody just feels comfortable, and hopefully Gainey just seeing the ball go through the net and just. I don't know. It felt like a lid was on the basket for him because it wasn't like he's been taking – he's had some questionable shots at times, but the majority has been open, and you got to take them.
Yeah, and he's and he is a shooter. It's why he's on the floor. So you need him to – unfortunately, even when he's off, you need him to keep shooting. Mm-hmm. I agree. I hope that seeing him go in is finally hopefully it's a floodgate. They're wide open for him now, and you need him to shoot. It's why it's the – I mean, he plays good defense. I'm not saying the exact only reason he plays, but that's why he's in there at the end of the day is to shoot from range. So getting 15 from him was massive, not just for that game, but building on this season.
Yeah. And if you can get a little bit from Gainey, a little bit from Meshack, a little bit from Freddie,
Freddie, when he was in yesterday, man, he just looked like you talked about how everyone looked comfortable. And I said it yesterday on the post-game show. I think that was the most confidence and swagger I've seen this basketball team play with. They just look different, and comfortable is a good way to put it. Freddie DeLeon looked excellent yesterday for the few minutes he played. He seemed to kind of be everywhere. Played well on both ends of the floor. I don't know if he really gets any more minutes. Like, I don't know if there's really minutes there for him to get, but if he's in there for a few minutes and does that, it shows that Tennessee's one of the deeper teams in the country.
Yeah. And the better he plays, like the more minutes he's going to get. Like, I think Tennessee would absolutely love for Freddie to continue to have, 5-6 points here and there where they don't have to play
in
Zakai
5-minute spurts.
Yeah. They don't have to play Zakai Ziegler for 38, 40 minutes. I think they'd like to keep it kind of like they did with 30, 32 minutes.
And it's nice that if he can give you more, those other 8 minutes that Zakai doesn't play, you have a true point guard in the game, a guy that is in there to play that position, because now when Zakai is out, you just have guys bringing the ball up the court. Mm-hmm. And not that those guys can't get it done in a different way, but if you have 2 point guards to rotate in and out. And I know Freddie's not going to split minutes with Zakai. I don't expect that. But again, to go in for those 5-8 minute spurts, that's massive.
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee just got it done on every aspect of the basketball game.
It looks so good.
Rebounding, steals, assists. I mean, everything, blocks. Tennessee got it done. And Mark Sears had a decent game at 22, but Alabama had to earn every 71st point that they got.
Yeah, no, for sure. They worked for it. They had to.
They wanted no more of Tennessee. They wanted to get on the bus and get back to T-Town.
Yeah. That plane couldn't take off fast enough for him. And I think Tennessee's got a little bit of a quote unquote challenge ahead. And I don't mean in Vanderbilt. But they do have the week off, and then they seem to be rolling. Even that loss to Mississippi State, there was a mix of good basketball in there. You saw a little bit of light, even though you had a 7-minute stretch where you really struggled. That ended up costing you the game. But the last 4 games for Tennessee, starting off SEC play, 5th game with Ole Miss, they've looked pretty good. Now you have a week of rest, which can be a good thing. Should be a good thing, but can you get back from that week, travel to Vanderbilt, and take care of business and keep rolling, I think is a big, not question mark for me, but I think it presents a challenge for Tennessee. You don't kind of get to just immediately move on to the next game. You don't get to go play Tuesday night, Wednesday night. You got to sit on this one for a week, and then you travel to Nashville, which I expect it to be primarily orange in the gymnasium.
Sure.
But it does present, I think that week off after you've built a ton of confidence, you built a ton of momentum, is a challenge. If Tennessee responds well against Vanderbilt, first off, it should be another undressing. If we're just being honest about the two teams that are going to be playing each other, like that's what it should be. But we know SEC road games can be tough, and hopefully this is more of a home game. I like that I like this unique challenge because I don't think the challenge is mostly on the court. I think it's on this team, how they handle this week of preparation for it.
Yeah, I think Alabama definitely wishes they'd have that week after the Tennessee game to just kind of like get over their bumps and bruises, because Tennessee like made them feel everything. I mean, that game was physical as crap. And Tennessee just brings that. And so, I like what we see with this team. Yeah, it is. You do get a week, but you also like it's Vanderbilt. Like they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. So yeah, we'll see what we get with them. I mean, around the SEC is just weird. I think college basketball in general is just drunk. Kansas lost to West Virginia. You had Baylor beat Texas. Baylor hit a 3 to tie it. And then Texas goes all the way down and shoots a layup and wins the game. Yeah, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense of kind of how teams are losing. And, I guess it's one of those things where anybody can be beaten on any given night. UConn, it looks like they were the most dominant team in the country, and then they win by 1 point. I forget who they played, but it wasn't anybody like to really brag about beating. So, yeah, Tennessee has that long break in there, but I don't think it should matter because it is the worst team probably in definitely the SEC, and they're probably up there in college basketball, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't matter, and it technically shouldn't. Like I said, I think this is it's not a worrisome challenge, I think, which is good. It's not like you got to take a week off and then play one of the best teams. You're not playing Kentucky. You're not playing an Auburn team that's playing good basketball. So I feel good about this challenge. I like this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to click out of here. My dog he's just pacing, just stressing me out. I didn't know what he was doing. Just keeps walking around the house. Oh,
yeah, my dog's been kind of weird too. I don't know if it's been the weather or what, but
this turns out he has a nice, comfortable bed right next to the desk and a nice, comfortable couch. He just wanted to get in the bedroom, and the bedroom door was closed and stressing me out. Yeah, he's the dumbest dog of all time.
Just want a free reign,
I guess. Just let him have whatever he wants. Do that already.
Yeah, that's kind of all I got for basketball. I don't really have a whole lot else. I do love that Tennessee is getting out in transition. It felt like that's something that Tennessee has lacked the last couple of years. Is just, we play good defense, but can we use that to like get out in transition, get out and run, use our athleticism? And it feels like we're finally able to do that.
Yeah, after like 3 years straight of being one of the better defenses in the country and not being able to get in transition, they finally can. It helps having a guy like Dalton Connect that wants to go to the hole fast. And
Zakai, who can I'd like to see somebody faster than him because I haven't seen it.
But yeah, Zakai's always wanted to do it, but it's hard to do it solo. It's hard to transition solo all the time.
Yeah.
Sure, you're going to get some fast breaks by yourself, and they're easy, but
poor Josiah and Santi just don't have that breakaway speed in them. They are 35, so
I mean, we're talking about guys that are they've got a nice 401k sitting there. So
it was nice to see Vescovi get going and see the ball go through the net some too. Him getting double figures again. Again, I kind of mentioned this on the show, but that was the first time Gainey had gotten to double figures since the UNC game.
Right.
So, I mean, we're playing really good basketball right now, and it seems like everybody's kind of elevating their game as well. Whether that's Meshack had another really good game. 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. We mentioned Jordan Gainey had 15. Freddie DeLeon had a decent game in his, very few minutes that he had. And then Vescovi, Ziegler had another kind of fill up the stat sheet kind of game. And, yeah, Tennessee just trounced Alabama. They had no answer at all.
I bet NATO wanted to shove some kids.
Oh, yeah.
Punch some babies.
He definitely did. I just love that Pringle put up, what did he have? He had 8 points, too. Yeah, he called Zakai short after the game. Also, what was that we're trying to line up for the national anthem and Alabama's just in a huddle on our side of the court?
Yeah, I think the away team typically goes to the locker room as well before the national anthem, like Tennessee does. I think this the typical move. I guess Alabama doesn't do that normally. I would like to know. I know Tennessee's got a little bit of that team carries themselves. They kind of are looking for trouble all the time. They're looking for an edge. So I don't know. I mean, the coaches were lined up, so I don't think this would be the case. But I wonder if there was a mix of maybe Tennessee got there a little early. They saw the huddle and said, "I know what we'll do. I know how we'll get in their head early." I know this. Alabama probably regrets not going to the locker room before. Do you really need to give that team any extra energy?
Yeah, just dumb.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. If you
save it, you can talk crap after the game, but just maybe wait.
If you can afford an edge, go get the edge, like Tennessee maybe did. If you can't, don't try it because you might give the other team an edge. So I don't know what that was all about. I would again. I don't know the typical thing for away teams. I think they typically go to the locker room like Tennessee, but Alabama chose not to, and Nate Oates is regretting that decision. Maybe that was the SEC punishment. They reprimanded and said, "Hey, you have to stay out there the entire pregame." They knew what was going to happen. We'll go with that. We'll give Greg Sankey a little bit of credit today. How about that?
I did see something where an Alabama fan was like, "The officials are screwing us." They shot 24 free throws. We shot 25.
Yeah, the officials in that game. That game was so out of hand early that I'm someone who hates, especially college basketball officials. I'm not saying they did a good job. They just didn't do anything that really impacted the game because there was nothing they could do to impact the game. Pants down, trouncing.
Yeah.
They got
How about
thumped.
you shoot better than 19%? And that's all Tennessee's defense because Alabama came in the number one shooting team in the country. And they shot 19% from behind the arc.
How about you all just play more physical basketball? Basketball is a physical sport. Basketball players cry about that all the time.
Just
it's a physical
be better.
sport. Yeah, but quit crying.
Just be better.
In fact, I mean, the only officiating thing I complained about was there was two soft back-to-back fouls in that game in the first half. One on Dalton Connect on the opposite end of the floor. He brushed up with a guy going for a ball, barely touched him, called a foul, sent him to the line. They were in bonus. And then there was one before that at the hole that was a super soft foul.
That's the only two I complained about. Was
that before the Connect one? It was at the rim, so it could have been. Yeah. It was very soft.
Yeah. And that's what got him in foul trouble. He didn't even play most of the first half because of
he had two.
Yeah.
Early.
Foul trouble. Yeah, pretty early. So still put up 19 points.
Yeah. Just be better, Alabama. Just quit. Yeah. No one's out to get you. In fact, everyone's kind of the opposite.
Yeah. Also, a little bit of fool's gold, I think, with their conference schedule up to this point.
If we're talking fool's gold, is the national media ever going to walk back their Chris Beard is the greatest thing known to man? Not known to women, just known to man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying what he did before conference play wasn't impressive with the roster he's given. But instead of just saying that, the national media has to sell it as he's doing the best job coaching in the country. They're undefeated. And when it's, guys, we're halfway through the season. Let's pump the brakes.
And now
and they won't say a word about it. They won't mention Ole Miss now. Ole Miss will not be talked about for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they beat Florida.
They did beat Florida.
But then they barely beat Vanderbilt, and then lost to LSU and just got absolutely embarrassed by Auburn.
Yeah.
It's Tennessee and Auburn. Those are the two best teams in the SEC. And I guess you can throw in Kentucky there.
I think I was gonna say
Yeah,
I
this
think
year.
this it's very top heavy this year. It's between 3 teams. And that's really it. The other team, there's gonna be some guys that get some wins in there. But in terms of who's gonna be in the mix at the end of it, who's gonna be that 1 seed, who's gonna be the favorites in the tournament, it's between 3 teams right now.
Yeah. Yep. Also, for you Vol fans, I think you'd like to hear this. This is one of my fails, but I'll go ahead and say it since we're talking about college basketball. Is Penny Hardaway. Other day blew a 20-point lead to lose. I think it was it was the first time since like 2001 that a top 10 team blew a 20-point lead at home and lost. And then lost today to Tulane. So gets in the top 10 and then absolutely just pisses down his leg. You hate to see it.
Oh, I mean, just terrible, right?
Yeah.
I was just going through the top 25. There were some great games yesterday, even after the Tennessee game. But one game that I just saw, just popped up here. Also, Houston's number 5. Well, yeah, Houston's number 5 in the country. They're 3-2 in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Didn't notice that. Anyways,
they lost 2 in a row.
Did you see their score yesterday against UCF?
I did not, no.
It was 57-42.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, just a good defensive battle.
Rock fight.
Yeah, I mean, truly. No, I mean, even that, well, I don't know. That A&M LSU game was one that it was hard to keep my eye on, but ended up being close at the end. I don't know how good it was. It's one of those games you just kind of enjoy watching, but I don't know how good it was.
Yeah. Oh, Connecticut beat Villanova by 1. Kansas lost, so Tennessee will go up 1.
West Virginia got the better of Kansas. Pitt beat Duke at home. Pitt beat Duke at Cameron. The Cameron crazies were not so crazy. I don't know if you saw, who was it, stand up on the scores table. It'd be a great Renaissance painting. He's up there, arms out, and people are just like yelling at him and reaching. Yeah. It'd be a great Renaissance painting. Put it in the Louvre.
Yeah, there was some
college basketball.
Yeah,
love it.
There's a 3 overtime game, Creighton and Seton Hall.
That was at least the second overtime and then regulation. It looked like it was a good game. I'm not dogging the entirety of the game, but late there, it looked like they couldn't figure out. Both teams were maybe trying to give it away a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess not give it away. They just didn't necessarily want to win. They just, listen, they didn't think, they thought those tickets were expensive and they wanted the fans to get their money's worth. That's all. It's good business. Customer service.
I watched the Marquette St. John's game, and Marquette, I mean, oh my God, just absolutely blew. They were up by like 13, like in the last 5 minutes. Didn't score a point.
There's your there's your Renaissance painting right there.
Oh, that's sick.
I love it. Like everyone's reaching at him. What are you doing? Couple birds maybe in there. I can't tell because that is the grainiest photo I've ever seen. But that just an excellent photo. I'm gonna see if I can get a better one up here. That was pitiful. If we had a producer, that was worth a crap. Yeah. He's looking up lyrics to Wicked right now. There we go. There's not enough middle fingers, I think. Am I wrong? I like that security's over there.
Yeah. They're like, hey, buddy,
what are they going to do about it?
Yeah.
Those Pitt uniforms rock.
Do you think he went and told somebody? He's like, hey, watch this. Get a picture of this.
Yeah, he definitely got that photographer involved. Got him involved early. Speaking of security, probably one of my favorite security moments ever. Did you see I'm not blanking on her name. Iowa, Caitlin Clark. Did you see her get obliterated?
Yeah, also you got to run through that one.
Okay.
For Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, she may be she got hit. I'm not disagreeing with that. In terms of she got bumped. You're telling me it hurt that bad though? Like you get hit harder than that in the basketball game. No. Also, everyone talking about the girl being on the phone. I mean, sure.
She's a little late to the party.
The person on the phone, guy, girl, I don't know who it was. But I mean, Caitlin Clark, get your head on a swivel. You're a D1 athlete. What are we doing?
Yeah, it didn't hurt that bad. I mean, you just got like screened a little bit.
But I said that because I believe I need to maybe check the tape again. I believe an Ohio State player came to check on him, and the security guard just shoved that Ohio State player out of the way. Like just friendly fire, man. Yeah. Little bit of friendly fire involved, but it made for a good.
Yeah, I mean
good clip.
They're gonna make sure no one else ever storms again because of that.
Yeah, the other person, the security guard just shoves that Ohio State player. The other person hit the deck too, and then just popped right up.
Yeah, and went and celebrated. She was like, "I'm not worried about her. She just lost."
That is a big person for sure. But she took it a little bit better than Caitlin Clark did. Also, people crying about
Clark kind of initiated the She
you think she leaned into it a little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see who gets to the spot first. Oh. I mean, no one's feet was set. That's for sure.
I think Caitlin Clark is her. She's running. The other girl is just like maybe a light jog, if we want to call it that.
Have we gotten the footage from the girl? Because that's kind of rock. That's got to be cool.
Yeah, just POV on, like yeah, like her phone goes right up Caitlin Clark's nose.
I like that everyone's talking about court storming like it's the worst thing in the world. Like we just saw Caitlin Clark get murdered. Guys, it's like that's a crappy thing to happen in that situation. Everything's fine. Everyone's fine.
Jermaine Burton hit a co-ed, so I mean,
people beat the crap out of each other for PlayStations on Black Friday, and not a peep. Let's pump the brakes here.
Yeah. All right.
Dang, I was hoping to find that. I was hoping there's a video of the girls just in these comments, but I haven't seen it yet. You can I'll probably find it on TikTok later tonight.
You got a friend to tell us about?
Oh, I do. Good call, Landon. And it was a savior this morning because I stayed up late playing Red Dead Redemption. Great A Grounds Coffee. Great A Grounds. They're a local coffee roasting company in Kingsport, Tennessee. They're owned by Billy and Kurt, who are teachers in the Johnson City area. Grade A. I wonder how many A's they hand out. What if it's like the only A's we give is to our own coffee. The rest of you all.
Or they got to drink coffee before they can.
Yeah, they're like, no, you don't. A's don't come that easy with them. Coffee though, it gets an A because it's that good. But they're educators who want to support their community and students. Their main goal as a company is to give back to students in the area. They do that by donating 5% of the sales to a nonprofit organization that supports students all over the Tri-Cities called Coalition for Kids. The money that you spend on coffee, that goes directly towards keeping a classroom at Coalition for Kids stocked with the necessary supplies for students. If you know a teacher, if you're married to a teacher like Landon, Landon sees his bank account every August, every January get drained, and throughout the year with school supplies. So if you're going to buy coffee, I recommend buying good coffee, and I recommend buying coffee that goes to a greater cause. Support your community, support communities, support students, support classrooms, support teachers like Landon's wife and Landon so his bank account doesn't get drained. Guys, Great A Grounds rocks. Great coffee. Big pick me up this morning for myself. Love supporting communities. This Great A Grounds, obviously supporting the Upper East Tennessee area. They're wanting to grow. They want to support every community, the communities you're a part of. So make sure you go spend money, let them grow. And if you go buy a bag of coffee right now, you get to select your label for your coffee bag. And those are created by students in the Johnson City area, the Tri-Cities area. So some really, really cool labels there that students under direction of art teachers help make, and with special names for those coffees. So, or special themes for those coffees, excuse me. So make sure you go check them out. Support your community. Support kids. That's what we do, guys. We support kids. What do you want me to do? Great A Grounds. They rock. Go check them out.
Yep. Also go check out our good friends Roback. Go to rowback.com. You will get 20% off your first purchase if you use promo code More Important Issues. They just have the great quality. Q-zips, hoodies, polos, whatever you want, they got it. Go check them out. Rowback.com, 20% off your first purchase. Also, Bills, what are we doing?
What happened? What was the turnover? I missed it.
They just faked a punt and ran it to the left and just got stuffed.
That's my favorite fake. Run to the left. Jason Kelsey's loving this. Oh gosh. Is this ankle okay? Also, I gotta call out. I love Jason Kelsey. Love him. But it looked like he was in a suite. So are we really like crazy that he's shirtless? Like he's in the warmth. Are we really loving it that much?
Dude, I love everything about Jason Kelsey.
They're saying the Bills are pointing. Did he fumble through the end zone? Bills are saying it's their ball.
I'm a little bit behind you. I don't know.
Oh. So does Hulu really have live sports then?
Yeah.
Oh, that ball was out. I think that ball was out. Sorry. Initial reaction, ball's out. Let's get another reaction here. You should be about to the replay now, Landon. You tell me if his butt was down. Maybe.
I'm still at the Pacheco run.
Oh, wow. You were really behind. Oh, that's close. I don't know if you can overturn it. I don't know. If they rule this a fumble, this is Bill's ball on the 20 coming out. What is he handling the ball? Oh, he's reaching for it. Oh, I don't know if you can overturn that. Oh, my. What a play to get a hand on the ball. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is not great.
Please be overturned. It's Miko Hardman. I mean, just all time.
I think that ball's out, man. Holy crap.
I don't know. Oh, they're not even going to. Oh, they are.
They reviewed it. They reviewed it. Or are reviewing it, I should say.
Gotcha.
Went to commercial. I think that ball might be out. That's Dylan. Yeah, Dylan maybe said something about it. Hold on. It's very close. Thanks, Dylan.
Let's go to most.
I'm sorry, Dylan. I sound like I'm dogging you all the time. I apologize. Most important. Well, let's see what I've got here for you today.
I think he's down. Damn.
Think he's down. You got anything? Oh, well.
Ooh, I don't know.
Vols in the NFL.
Yeah.
You got guys going to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, Jawan, Jalen Reeves-Maven, Emmanuel Mosley, Cam Sutton, Hendon Hooker.
Emmanuel's not on the 53-man, though, is he?
He's out for the year.
Okay, yeah. I was like, he's not on the 53-man. I didn't know why. Okay.
Yeah, I redid the tweet because people were just like on me about it, but
and
I kind of did it because like, who's going to play in the game?
Well, it is kind of like screwed up if you go look at the 53-man. Hendon's not on the 53-man because he's the emergency quarterback.
So I just included everybody. Everybody gets to go, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Those tickets are expensive, man.
But I also got Nick Dunlap.
Okay.
The 20-year-old won on the PGA Tour. He's the first amateur to win on tour since 1991. He was 450 to 1 odds to win.
Wow.
Today.
What event was today? I don't even know.
What was today?
Not important, huh?
Not that important. I just thought it was cool. It's the American Express.
Okay, nice. Good for him.
Yeah, he shot 29 under.
I don't. That's awesome. Sorry, I was going on to the next thing. That is great. So Sports Illustrated, I guess, closed their doors forever this week, which I didn't know they were they producing magazines anymore, or was it just SI.com now?
I haven't seen anything. I don't know.
Okay. But while that sucks that they closed, I guess, even though I think they may cease to exist a long time ago, technically, we did get a bunch of tweets and good reminders of some of the best Sports Illustrated articles covers. That that was my favorite thing. I don't know how long we had it. We had an SI subscription for a long, long time. Seeing those hit the mail and what the cover was going to be, trying to maybe like I'd guess with my brothers what the cover was going to be when something big happened that month. Always my favorite. Sports Illustrated articles or covers rocked.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those because we got them in when I was in college. We got them in at the library. So like after like the month was up, they'd usually just like let me take them.
Yeah.
And so I had a bunch. I don't know if I have some covers somewhere, but there wasn't a lot like a Tennessee in that time frame, unfortunately.
No.
But yeah,
I don't know if there were any, right?
There probably wasn't. No.
Yeah, that's it was fun seeing all the like the ones I guess you kind of forget about. They just don't, but are great. Love that. Rip Sports Illustrated, I guess.
RIP, yeah. Any fails?
I'm not gonna do. I was gonna do one. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna let it go. I said I was gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go.
I'm gonna go the interview of Caden Proctor. Did you see this?
I didn't.
So he committed to Iowa. Was at an Iowa basketball game, and he told this reporter that Iowa reached out to him mid-season when he was struggling in the SEC and just let them know that they're there for him.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So dumb. Don't say that. It's gonna. Well, who knows? They'll actually investigate.
Yeah, bro.
They might now that we mentioned it. They might not have even seen that until now. Now they'll open it. What like would that alone be considered? First, I agree. Don't mention it. Don't give him a reason to look into it. Would that alone, if he actually got a call from Iowa, it was like, hey man, we think we like what you're doing. Keep it up. We're proud of you. Would that be tampering? What are the rules? Can they just have zero contact? I would think so.
Yeah, I feel like you can't do that. I don't know, but is it really any different than Kirby Smart coming up to Caleb Downs after the SEC championship and dapping him up?
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Although that one's kind of out of the, because couldn't you argue Kirby did that with several players? We just only saw that one.
Well,
like
and maybe like
field after a game.
Yeah, maybe you couldn't avoid contact,
right?
Or whatever. I guess you could, but if somebody walks by you, you can't just not say something. But yeah, like them just like openly just reaching out and just being like, "Hey, man, you're good." It's like what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's bold to tell that story for sure.
But also, like, I understand Caden Proctor's from Iowa, but good God, did you watch that at a bowl game? You want to go there?
Yeah, that is Alabama, you're losing people to Iowa. You got bigger problems than just the transfer portal. Like, there's a lot more going on there.
I did get another Hayes Fawcett, some wide receiver from Washington committed to Alabama, of course.
Oh,
hate to see it.
All right, can we just? This will just be my spiel, not a fail. Can we just not tweet things for clicks alone? Can we just not be over excited and or over negative just so people like, retweet, or respond to your tweets? It's obnoxious.
Yeah,
you don't have to oversell or undersell stuff just because. It's okay for things to just be kosher, just for things to be cool, good, great. They don't need to be the best or the worst all the time, Stephen A. Good Lord. I just need to get off Twitter at those moments instead of holy S-balls. Also, it did get overturned, that fumble, by the way.
Yeah.
And if that's a catch, which it's going to get reviewed. No, they called it incomplete. That would be an incredible catch. Let's see. Oh,
I forgot we have to do a giveaway.
Yeah. Do that while wait. Don't do that yet. Oh. gosh, that would. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, it's not a
You're
good.
good. Yeah, so giveaway time. We got some hats to give away. We're probably going to do some more of these, but wanted to do it. The snow kind of just made it right. We're giving away some of those white
icy.
ones. Yeah. So we got 2 people here. I'm going to go ahead and read off those names, pick them like right at 8. And that is Chase Smith at Vol from CLT. And then we have Kevin Vallone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good winners. Well-deserved winners.
Congrats to them. We'll reach out and get that information where we can send that out to you guys. But appreciate y'all following along. And congrats. Hope you love the hats.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here, finish this game because football is king. And we hope everybody, a lot of people have to go back to work this week, me included.
Some of us had to work last week. Hey, we get to play golf tomorrow, though. Sort of.
We do. Yeah.
How does that work, real quick? Do you know?
I have no clue. I have no clue anything. I was about to text everybody. Do I need to bring my clubs?
And I feel like if you're playing in a league, even at Top Golf, you should bring your clubs. Maybe I'm wrong. I was just thinking you would.
I don't know.
I'll leave my woods at home. I'll bring everything else.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, guys, thank you all for listening. And we'll be back on Thursday. Got a special guest. Not going to tell you exactly who it is. We got a special guest for you guys. I'm sure you're going to love. So follow along and tune in. And we're bringing the boat in, and we out.